Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today we are going to be doing a really interesting poem called The Haunted Houses by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Okay, now first of all, before I begin, what comes to your mind when you hear the word haunted houses? When I hear the word haunted houses, an image of a very old, wretched bungalow comes to my mind with broken windows, perhaps some dirty steps, and lingering spirits that seem to harm. They want to harm you, and it's like a dangerous spot which is not safe with all sorts of paranormal events. But this poem is very different. So first, before I start, I would read this block over here, and I would advise you to do the same, and I'll be explaining and giving you guys a line-wise explanation of this poem. The phantoms in Longfellow's poem Haunted Houses are neither mischievous poltergeists. Poltergeists means mischievous planners or somebody who is having a malicious or an evil intent. Okay, so they are neither mischievous or nor angry spirits who seek to harm, so they do not intend any harm. They are simply the souls of the dear departed. Dear departed means the ones who have already passed away or died, who linger in our memories and therefore in our lives and homes. They seem to share our living spaces and silently observe, perhaps even join in our daily activities at the table and at the fireside. They float, they waft, they glide about us, and we feel somehow that they have connected to us for all time. Okay, so basically his poem is more of like comforting, and it's evoking a feeling of safety rather than menace or rather than danger. So this poem is essentially conveying the fact that every house is haunted, and this gives a commonality to this. So this becomes very common that all houses are haunted, wherein people have lived and died, and also the spirits of our loved ones, they linger in our memories. So जो भी होता है पूरी लाइफ टाइम में उन लोगों के साथ, वो सारी memories हमारे दिमाग में रहती हैं. That stays in our mind, that lingers in our memories. And also if we talk about in the paranormal sense, the spirits, they stay in the corner somewhere in the corner of our home, as silent as the pictures on the wall, and we can even though they are leaving impalpable impressions in the air. Impalpable means untraceable, something which is abstract, such kind of impressions. So you can't really put a finger to the fact that the spirits of our loved ones are there, but still they are there to protect us and to keep our lives in balance or in equipoise. So basically the full poem is very interesting, so stay tuned. I will be giving you a line-wise explanation. So far understand that these spirits are not mischievous, they do not seek any harms, but they stay in our lives because of the fact that the memories, they linger in our minds. So first let us go through the first paragraph. All houses wherein men have lived and died are haunted houses. Through the open doors, the harmless phantoms or the errants glide with feet that make no sound upon the floors. So as I already discussed, that all the houses where the men have lived and died. So for example, if this house where I am living in, the previous house owners, they lived here, and perhaps some people, they died over here. So their spirits, and then perhaps people who lived in my family and would pass away in this family, would have the spirits lingering in this house. So all houses wherein men have lived and died, so whatever has lived and died, even men, animals, whatever, but here we essentially talk about the men. So all houses where men have lived and died are haunted houses. This gives a sense of commonality, or something which is not really a cause of concern, because all houses are haunted houses. It's a common thing. So what do these phantoms do? These phantoms, these spirits, through the open windows, from their doors, they glide, they waft through the air, they glide through the air, and then we meet them at various spots. And their feet, they make no sound upon the floor. So in no way they want to make their presence felt, because they have no evil intent. These harmless phantoms on their errands glide. Errands means daily activities. So whatever they used to do when they were alive is what they do when they are dead. So they are doing the same things in the house as quietly as they can, so that their presence is not felt. Second paragraph, we meet them at the doorway, on the stair, along the passages they come and go, impalpable impressions on the air. As I already discussed, we meet them on various spots. So meet in the sense we can't really look at them, but of course they are over there, wherever. For example, I am sitting in this room, there is a possibility perhaps there is a spirit near me, standing near me, of a loved one, or of the tenants or the people that lived before me. Okay, and impalpable impressions on the air, but I really can't make out as I speak. I can't really say that there is a spirit over here. I can't really give you the proof, because the spirits and the memories of that our loved ones are abstract. Okay, a sense of something moving to and fro. But even after that, sometimes, some of the other times, in bungalows and big houses where a lot of people have lived and died, we still feel something. There is a small lingering sense of somebody to and fro. So for example, let's say if somebody in your family, he or she passes away recently, okay, and you used to see that person carry out their daily activities in that home. So even after the person breathes his last or passes away, you still feel his or her presence. Or maybe you might be guessing, okay, my grandfather used to sleep on this bed, my grandmother used to rock on this chair, she used to sit and knit sweaters on this chair. So still there is a small memory, a lingering memory. There is some kind of a feeling, there is a sense of somebody moving to and fro, maybe the spirit, maybe the memory, whatever. Okay, there are more, now we switch the scene. There are more guests at the table than hosts invited. The illuminated hall is thronged with quite inoffensive ghosts, as silent as the pictures on the wall. So usually in the homes, here in this sense, the hosts, they invite, let's say they are inviting a few guests at the table, at the dining table, but there are still more guests than what the hosts have invited. Why? Because the spirits are quietly over there, they're observing everything. So let's say if I invited 2 people to dinner in my home, there are 5 more spirits that are lingering over there of the loved ones who are over there. So the hosts and the guests, they are unaware of the fact that there are spirits over there. Okay, so the illuminated hall is thronged with quite inoffensive ghosts. So they mean no harm, they are just over there, they are observing, they are just they are just over there quietly, as silent as the pictures on the wall. So you see the pictures are over there. So if I take the picture to be like a person, if I am there and there are 2 pictures over there, so let's say if there are 3 people, if I include the pictures also in the room, they are as silent as the pictures on the wall, because they're not really participating in the activities, they're not making their presence felt, as well as they do not mean any harm to the humankind. They're not making it unbearable for the people in the house or the residents in the house to live in. The stranger at my fireside cannot see the forms I see, nor hear the sounds I hear. He but perceives what is, while unto me all that has been visible and clear. So basically, in the previous, if you look at the previous explanation videos, you will see the teachers saying that basically the speaker is the ghost. But now in the new board pattern, we are looking at this as the speaker having some kind of supernatural or paranormal abilities to be able to perceive the ghosts and the spirits. This could be perhaps because he has experienced all the past and present events in the home, and his memories are so strong that are manifesting in the form of these spirits and in the form of these memories. So he can he's saying that he can perceive whatever is going on even in the intangible world. So perhaps he is gifted with that natural ability. So the stranger at the fireside, who is sitting at the fireside with him, is perhaps the resident of the house and is the current resident of the house, and is unaware of the fact that there are lingering spirits of people, and perhaps there are some intangible things from the spirit world that the poet can perceive but the stranger cannot. Okay, so fireside is essentially it's not, you will not find that very often in India, but usually in the olden times, in the 80s or 90s, in the foreign countries where it is very cold, we used to have a chimney where they used to light fire with the wood over there. I will make sure I try to add that picture in the description, but you yourself can go and search images of a fireside. So they sit, usually they have the drawing room and they sit over there. So that's where exactly the poet and the stranger are seated. And just for your information, Longfellow is also known as the fireside poet because of his fascinating poems usually being narrated near the fireside. But this is just for your information. We have no title deeds to house or lands. Owners and occupants of earlier dates from graves forgotten stretch their dusty hands and hold in mortmain still their old estates. So here we, it refers to us human beings. So even if we think we have the possession of the homes right now, if I have purchased this house where I'm living in, I have the title deed, I have the contract, I have the legal evidence that I own this house. Even after that, we do not own the house because the forgotten graves from the earlier occupants who had gotten the house, they stretch their dusty hands, they come out from the grave, they return to the home, and they come to the home to carry out their activities. So they call that home their own. So if, let's say, this house, the very first when this house was built, the very first owner of this house was my great grandfather. So when he dies and his grave is unattended, even when I am the owner of the home presently, I can say that my great grandfather, if he was still there, he would be the owner of the house. So even if we think that this house is ours, or whatever title deeds and everything that is there, still the older generations, the older ancestors, they still hold that house in mortmain. So we can't say that the house is ours. So nothing in this world is actually ours. It was owned by somebody else, and then after we die, it will be owned by somebody else. So this is rather a philosophical meaning. Okay. Then coming to the other stanza, so it's directly addressing the spirit world now. The spirit world around this world of sense floats like an atmosphere and everywhere, wafts through these earthly mists and vapor dents a vital breath of more ethereal air. So basically the spirit world is enclosing our normal world, the tangible world that we are living in, something which we can touch and feel, the real world, the human world where we are living in. It is enveloped just like the atmosphere is a layer of gases now. Similarly, the spirit world is surrounding the earth, and it travels, it slowly wafts through the mystic air, through the vapor, through the fog, through the dense air of the earth. They still waft through the air, they travel everywhere. It is everywhere. A vital breath of more ethereal air. So basically the delicate air from the spirit world is just traveling with the spirits on earth, and it is just over there. It's tangible. We can't prove their existence, but they still are over here. They're floating on earth, and they are surviving through all that vapor, water vapor, and the fog, and all the physical, what you call, impediments that are on earth. They are still floating in spite of all that, and they're surrounding earth like an like the atmosphere. Our little lives are kept in equipoise. What is the meaning of equipoise? Balance. By opposite attractions and desires, the struggle of the instinct that enjoys and the more noble instinct that aspires. So our little lives are kept in balance. So we need to make, so basically this stanza is stating that our lives should be kept in a particular kind of balance between our attractions and desires. Now basically attractions are all the things that I basically all the things that I want, all the materialistic wants. Maybe I want to become rich one day, I want to earn money, I want to find a good family. So those are all my attractions, and my desires are showing here the noble instincts to find spirituality, to be kind, to be truthful, to be courteous. So that is the spirituality. So when I'm balancing my materialistic desire with the higher goals, the noble instincts, the desires, the spirituality, I am maintaining an equipoise or balance in my life. So this is understood from the following lines: the struggle of the instinct that enjoys and the more noble instinct that aspires. So basically here we are saying that we struggle to get things, we struggle to acquire the commodities we want, we struggle to achieve success, as well as we aspire to know about the spiritual realm. We want to know what lies beyond the universe. Perhaps we want to instill kindness, spirituality, and harmony inside us. So when we balance all these abstract and tangible and intangible qualities, we are essentially maintaining a balance in our lives. These perturbations Perturbations means disturbances. This perpetual jar. Now, perpetual jar is a metaphor over here. Perpetual jar of earthly wants and aspirations high come from the influence of an unseen star and undiscovered planet in our sky. So let's say, this is a metaphor, this jar. So basically just imagine a glass jar wherein I'm filling all my earthly wants, whatever I want on earth, the success, the fame, everything, along with the higher desires to attain spirituality, perhaps to attain salvation, or whatever higher desires which lie beyond the horizon. I am filling in that jar, and whatever I'm filling in that jar is basically not getting filled up. It's slightly empty because I am still struggling to fill that jar. So it is saying that the human wants are unlimited, and the jar is, we are trying to fill the jar, but it isn't happening. So this is just a background, but if you look at the literal sense, it means whatever disturbances we are going through, the perpetual jar of desire, full of desire, unending desires of whatever spiritual aspirations and the materialistic aspirations. Where does this come from, you ask? So it comes from an undiscovered planet, an undiscovered star, somewhere from the spiritual realm, somewhere from the intangible realm, whose existence has not yet been confirmed. Okay. As the moon from some dark gate of cloud. Now we are talking about how this realm, this spiritual realm, connects with the real world. Okay. As the moon from some dark gate of cloud throws over the sea a floating bridge of light, across whose trembling planks are fancies crowd into the realm of mystery and night. So basically the moonlight, imagine moon near the sea. Okay, when the moon is on top, the moonlight, the bright moonlight on a full moon day, if you see near the beach, the bright moonlight, it falls on the sea, and as you know, the waves of the sea keep on trickling, trembling, and it keeps on moving, so that it creates an invisible pathway. It is visible, but it moves, keeps on moving, and it is very light, so it creates a light pathway, and that pathway is referred to as a bridge over here. So this bridge of light, it connects the real world with the spiritual world. Okay, so the spiritual, so perhaps there is an uninfluenced star, unseen star, unseen planet in the sky, and from that moonlight, the bridge of moonlight, it's able to connect that gate of spiritual world with the real world, with the real life world where we are living in, which we perceive as real. So that bridge is connecting. Okay, across whose trembling planks. Now this trembling, as I said, because of this waves of the sea, this bridge keeps on trembling, and so is our thoughts. So this is also a it's like a personification. So just as the bridge is trembling, our thoughts are also trembling on that bridge, because we don't know what lies beyond the horizon. Our imagination, it gets crowded, it gets stuck on that bridge, because we can't really reach the spirit world. Okay, into the realm of mystery and night. So of course we don't know anything. It is a realm of mystery, it's a realm of darkness, so they are calling it a realm of night. A bridge. Okay, so from the world of spirit. So this is now a concluding paragraph. That's where she has used the word so. Sorry, he has used the word so. So from the world of spirits there descends a bridge of light connecting it with this, o'er whose unsteady flow that sways and bends wander our thoughts above the dark abyss. So basically again it is emphasizing, so from the world of spirits. So basically the spirits, they come and go from that bridge of light. However, our thoughts that are trembling on that bridge, it can't really reach the spiritual realm. Okay, but and just like the unsteady floor, our imagination also sways and bends. Okay, wander our thoughts above the dark abyss. So dark abyss means a dark hole, which we don't know about, whose depth we don't really know about. So it's a dark hole. So this basically, when we are thinking about the memories of our loved ones, when we are thinking about the spiritual realm, and when we are we know that the loved ones' memories will always linger with us, it gives the ultimate sense of comfort, and it prevents us falling into that dark hole of grief. So that bridge of light is essentially not only connecting the spirit world world with the real world, it is also protecting us as human beings from falling into great despair because of the loss of a loved one, and it is also providing a sense of security. With this, we end the poem. If you want to know about these figures of speech, don't forget to comment below. If you won't comment, I won't upload the figures of speech. I want to know the number of people who actually want the figures of speech, okay? And I'll be giving you all sorts of figures of speech from every poem if you desire. With this, I conclude. Thank you and have a lovely day.